Good morning. Thank you for being with me today. Remember, subscribe to the channel and like the videos that you enjoy. We talk a lot about finances and financial freedom. That is a big deal for single parents. I always try to address various issues and things that might prevent you from having financial freedom. And today is no different. Today we're going to be talking about equity in your home, because when you have a lot of equity in your home, equity requires planning. Recently, I read a story about a person whose home is worth $1 million and they only owe $425,000 for the remainder of the mortgage. So that's really good, some really good math there. And there's a lot of things you can do in that position. So you want to do what you can to eliminate some of that debt, especially as you're getting older. You want to make sure you're planning for your long-term care and all those good things. So we're going to look at 10 ways to use equity to pay off your mortgage and even do some investments if that's something that you're interested in. So pull up a chair, get your coffee, get your tea, your muffin, and let's take a moment, take some notes, get paper and pen, and let's talk about what to do with equity in your home. 10 ways to use equity to pay off your mortgage. Number 1, a reverse mortgage is a last resort, and that's where you go back in and you pull the equity out. The bank will give you a portion of that, whether it's 70, 80, 90%. Pull out some of that and they'll begin paying you through the equity in the home, which can be a very good thing, but you want to use that as a last resort, because if something goes wrong, you suddenly cannot pay the bank back, then they will take the home from you. So as I always tell you in my other videos, the homes are owned by the banks and the government, because if you don't pay your property taxes, you could lose your home, and if you don't pay your mortgage back, they could foreclose on your home. So these are things you really got to think about. So reverse mortgage is a last resort. It can work for some people. If you have other things besides just equity in your home, that might be a possibility. But if the only resources you have is the equity in your home, I would definitely say a reverse mortgage should be a last resort, like where you have no income coming in. So in this case, another person has Social Security coming in. So let's leave the reverse mortgage as a last resort. Talk about that another time. Number 2, take out a home equity mortgage first lien position. Ideally, you would do this in the very beginning. With your mortgage, you would want to, where maybe you bought the home and it's got a lot of equity, like the children could probably do this, but you want to take it out where the home equity loan, it's a first lien, meaning that's the first one to get paid is the home equity mortgage, and it allows you to constantly have equity in your home. So that's definitely a great thing to do. First, most banks are not going to allow it in first lien. They typically want you to refinance and then pull the money out and have a second mortgage, that sort of thing. But if you can find some places, there are some banks that will do this. There's probably about 7 or 8 of them where you can take out a home equity mortgage first lien position. They do exist. You're going to have to do your homework, do some research, but there's good stuff out there, and you're in a great position when you have a lot of equity in your home. So just keep that in mind. Number 3, use the home equity to pay off the mortgage. You can actually do that. So you got $425,000 left on the mortgage. You've got over $600,000 or just under $600,000 in equity. You can actually just take that and pay off the mortgage and have it be done with it. So there's a lot of things you can do. You want to really carefully examine your choices, sit down, discuss it with people who have your best interests, of course, your lawyer, whatever, your estate, your children, that sort of thing, your spouse. You want to definitely be discussing this with people who have your best interest in mind. Again, number 3 was using the home equity to pay off the mortgage. Number 4, you could sell the home to an investor. That is an option as well. They love having a lot of equity in a home and maybe get a good deal for that. I'm not sure. But the idea is to kind of get that mortgage paid off. In this situation, this particular person was receiving $3,000 per month in Social Security. So in about 11 years, that home will be paid off. So you don't necessarily have to sell it to an investor. It's just an option. Just keep putting it out there as a way. But there's a lot of other better choices. Number 5, you can pull the equity out of your home and place it in life insurance. And one of the reasons why you would do that is because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know if you're going to have any illness, cancer, things like that. So not knowing that, you can get creamed by not having enough long-term care insurance or having a major medical illness. Some major problem could just literally wipe you out. So you always want to put your money somewhere safe where it's not going to be lost, and it does not get lost in a high cash value life insurance policy. So that's always something I talk to you about as well, especially for single parents. So keep that in mind. Women are also going to be living a lot longer, typically on average 20 years longer than their spouse. So just keep that in mind. You're going to need money longer, so you've got to have the money in a safe place. If you have been fortunate enough to pay off your home and to have tremendous amount of equity in your home, then you definitely want to put it somewhere safe. And the law is on your side in that way. Number 6, pull the equity out of the home and place it in a REIT with dividends. Real estate investment trust. It's one of the best companies to invest in for stocks, for dividends, for income later, because I mean, Social Security, $3,000 a month is okay. That works. It just depends on your expenses. But if you can start receiving money, income from a real estate investment trust with dividends, that is fantastic as well. You're going to always have money then. And then you can pass it on to your heirs as well, pass it on to your children. So that's a really great way to pull the equity out and to keep money coming in, so you're not worried later in life. Number 7, check to see if your children can assume the mortgage. That's always a nice thing as well. Maybe they can take over and then you can keep the home in the family, that sort of thing. There aren't a lot of assumable mortgages out there, but it's definitely something I would look into. Look into your options before you make any quick decision. And first of all, try not to make quick decisions, but before you make a decision, look at all your options. Can they assume the mortgage? Do they want to assume the mortgage? Is that a possibility? Is that a good thing? So just look into that. Number 8, continue paying down the mortgage and leave the equity in the home. You could wait a few more years and not touch it at all. The reason why you kind of want to pull the equity out of the home is because you want to give yourself choices in the event something goes wrong. So, I mean, a lot of things go right as well, but things do go wrong. There's sickness, there's illness. You suddenly might not have the income. Social Security law, you don't know when Social Security could run out. It's going to change, that sort of thing. So you don't want to always be depending on the government. You want to make sure you have your money in different buckets, different baskets, and you have a plan for your money, for your dreams, for an emergency, for savings, for passing it on to your heirs, that sort of thing. Number 9, pull the equity out of the home and place the money in multifamily properties. This again will give you income. That's another option. Take the money out and place it somewhere where it's going to grow, because typically you always want your money growing. You don't want money just kind of sitting there. 1, it puts you at risk for lawsuits, and 2, you might be able to use it one day. I mean, what if the economy changes and the housing market changes and suddenly all that equity you had in your home is the value of the home has just dropped, so you no longer have that equity in your home. So you want to always look at choices, be proactive, and place your money somewhere safe. Your equity, pull the equity out, do something with it, and help it to grow. And that way you don't run out of money as well. Number 10, you can pull the equity out of the home and invest the money in an established, well-run business. I talk to single parents about buying a franchise, something that's tried and true and established, something that you will have income coming in whether you work or not. That is the name of the game. When you get towards the end of the life, you want to have some passive income, some money coming in that does not require you to get up at 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m. and get to work, but you have it coming in. So just some things to think about. There are other options, of course, but these are some great choices as well. So the equity in your home requires planning. These are just 10 ways for the equity, to use the equity to pay off your mortgage. 1, I always say a reverse mortgage should be a last resort. 2, take out a home equity mortgage in the first lien position. Number 3, use the home equity to pay off the mortgage. Number 4, sell the home to an investor. Number 5, pull the equity out of the home and place it in life insurance, high cash value life insurance, because it's a very safe place to put it and it protects you later on in life should you need to pay for long-term care or things like that. And it just gives you a safe spot to put your money. Pull the equity out of the home and place it in a real estate investment trust, a REIT with dividends. That means your money is going to keep coming in. And every time you reinvest those dividends, you're going to have some serious money. There are people getting $30,000, $100,000, $1 million a year in dividends because they keep reinvesting it. And it's a great thing to pass on to your children as well. So just some things to think about. Check to see if your children can assume the mortgage. Number 7. Number 8, continue paying down the mortgage and just leave the equity in the home a little bit longer. That's another option. Allow it to grow some more. Number 9, pull the equity out of your home and invest the money in multifamily properties. And 10, pull the equity out of your home, invest it in an established, well-run business. Thank you again for listening to my channel. Thank you for taking notes, for subscribing and liking this channel, and I appreciate you. Have an amazing day. Sonia Gallen Comunica, SoniaGallenComunica.com, the author of 10 Things I Wish I Knew as a Single Parent, where we talk about all things single parents. Have an amazing day.